Welcome back to the deep dive. We are taking a deep breath and jumping right into one of the wildest hours of motorsport we've seen all season.
The sprint qualifying at LUSAIL, just chaos.
Total chaos.
Yeah.
We have this stack of notes in front of us, and every line points to the same thing. Knife edge margins, crazy strategic calls, and just outright drama.
Maximum equality, that's the term that keeps jumping out.
It really is. So our mission today is to cut through all that noise and really distill what happened. We're going to focus on who nailed it and, maybe more importantly, who completely melted down. Okay, let's get into it.
And you have to understand the context here. This whole compressed format, it just demands perfection instantly.
Right.
Drivers were on tires, they hadn't really tested, the track was changing every single second, and any tiny mistake, well, it wasn't a tiny penalty, it was a massive one.
Which is how we get our main headline. The incredible return to the front for Oscar Piastri.
What a lap.
It's a huge reemergence for him. Takes pole position. His first front row start in what feels like a really long time.
And look, it wasn't like he dominated. He really, really had to earn it. The margin was just, what, 0.03 of a second?
0.032 seconds over George Russell in P2. It's nothing.
It's nothing. It just tells you that Piastri was absolutely masterful, but the whole field was right there with him. He just found that last tiny little fraction.
So let's stick with that battle at the front. Piastri, Russell, and then Lando Norris right behind in P3. And the word is that Lando should be feeling, well, a little disappointed.
Oh, for sure, because the speed was there. McLaren had the pace for a 1-2, no question.
The notes say he just went long in the final corner.
Exactly. He just pushed a tiny bit too hard, sacrificed maybe less than a tenth, and boom, it cost him 2 spots on the grid. That's how unforgiving it was.
It's a perfect illustration of what you were saying, precision over just raw aggression.
Which then brings up the bigger question, right? If McLaren and Mercedes are that close, what does it say about the rest of the pack?
It's, as we saw what the notes are calling, maximum equality, a convergence we haven't seen in a long, long time.
And the numbers are just staggering. Look at P4 to P9. You've got Alonso,
Tsunoda, Verstappen, Sainz.
Ocon, and Leclerc. 6 drivers.
6 of them. And the gap between all of them.
It's only 1.5 tenths, 0.15 seconds.
That is insane. You've got 3 full rows of the grid covered by less than 0.2 of a second.
And technically, I think 2 main things caused that. First was the track evolution. It started off so slippery, but the grip just ramped up like crazy.
So timing was everything.
Everything. But second, and this is maybe the key, was the tire rule. Everyone on mediums for SEC1 and SQ2.
A compound nobody had really run on properly in practice.
Exactly. So it leveled the playing field. The big teams couldn't just rely on their soft tire data to pull away early. It funneled everyone into this one massive high-pressure moment in SQ3 on the softs.
That makes so much sense. And when the margins are that tight, the driver who just executes one clean lap wins. Which brings us to Fernando Alonso.
Ah, yes.
His P4 lap is being called masterful.
It was. He's on the 2nd row, ahead of some serious championship contenders. The notes even say he's in the best position for a podium.
He is so dangerous from P4. If Piastri, Russell, or Norris have even the slightest wheel spin off the line, Alonso is there.
He's there.
But this is where it gets really crazy. Because while all this was happening at the front, the championship leader was having a total disaster, hiding right in the middle of that pack.
Oh, Max Verstappen's session was, it was easily his worst this season. It was like he was just fighting fires the entire time.
It all came to a head in SQ3, didn't it? His first lap.
Gone. Nulo. Thrown away. He just went off the track.
Which meant he had one single shot left to put a time on the board. The pressure must have been immense.
But it was worse than that, because that off-track moment wasn't free. It came with a huge mechanical cost.
Right. This is the key. The car was damaged.
Yep. Parts of the floor, the fondo plano, were literally breaking off the car. You could see how frustrated he was. The notes say he was basically defeated by his RB21.
And for anyone who might not know, damage to the floor on these cars it's not like a scraped wing. It's catastrophic, isn't it?
Oh, it's 100 times worse. Something like 60 or 70% of the car's downforce comes from that floor. It's designed to suck the car to the track.
So you break off even a little piece.
And you lose a massive amount of grip and stability, especially in the fast corners. The car just becomes unpredictable and slower.
Which explains his final position, P6. But, and this is the big question for Red Bull, his teammate, Yuki Tsunoda, put it in P5, ahead of him.
And that's the real problem for them. The damage is one thing, but getting beaten by your teammate is another. This is a huge, huge result for Tsunoda.
It puts Max in such a terrible spot. He's starting P6 in a damaged car right in the middle of that pack where everyone is separated by hundredths of a second.
And with the sprint format, there's basically no time to fix something as complex as a floor properly. They can swap it, sure, but then you lose all that time you needed to fine-tune the setup.
He's going into that race compromised. P6 in this field. I mean, that's just an accident waiting to happen.
Absolutely.
This segment is part of our news coverage of recent F1 events.
And for all of you joining us on YouTube, a very warm welcome to DRS Zone. Make sure you hit that subscribe button for more deep dives just like this one.
Okay, so let's pivot from Verstappen's chaos to another team that had a really rough day, Ferrari.
An inauspicious day is how the notes describe it, which feels polite.
Yeah, I mean, Carlos Sainz did all right. He managed P8. But that was sort of the only bright spot.
It really was. Charles Leclerc just behind him in P9, and the notes say he only just saved Ferrari's honor. But the real story, the real shock, was on the other side of that garage.
Oh, man. Lewis Hamilton.
An absolute catastrophe. Knocked out in Ski 1. He's going to be starting the sprint from P18.
P18. It's almost unbelievable. He's only ahead of, what, 4 other drivers? The notes are brutal, calling it a new chapter for the oblivion.
How does that even happen for a driver of his caliber?
Well, it seems like a mix of bad strategy and maybe a setup issue. In SQ1, you have to time your run perfectly with the track evolution. You wait too long, you hit traffic. You go too early, the track's too slow.
He just got caught out.
He got caught out. And the margins were tiny. Leclerc himself only scraped through SQ1 by about a tenth and a half.
Right. So the difference between Leclerc in P9 and Hamilton in P18 was, in reality, almost nothing.
And then you contrast that with someone like Alonso, who showed his practice pace was real. It wasn't a mirage. He was P1 for a moment in SQ1. It just shows what was possible if you executed perfectly.
And Hamilton and Ferrari just didn't.
And SQ2 was just as brutal. You had Kimi Antonelli, who the notes say saved himself in extremis.
Only because another driver, Isaac Hadjar, got a lap time deleted. Antonelli was on the verge of being knocked out.
That is the definition of a knife edge. And then you had Behrman, Bortoleto, Hulkenberg, and Ocon all getting eliminated.
It just proved that if you didn't get that one lap on the softs absolutely perfect, you were done.
And we should probably mention the little bit of drama that didn't end up being drama, the impeding incident between Max and Lando in SQ2.
Right, the stewards had a look, but pretty quickly they said, no further investigation. I think everyone just wanted to get on with it.
So when we put all of this together, what's the big takeaway from this qualifying session?
I think it's this huge shift in the competitive balance. You had Piastri, who was just flawless, and his precision amplified every single mistake made by his rivals.
Whether that was a driver error from Max combined with a mechanical failure,
or a massive strategic blunder from Hamilton that lands him in P18. The pressure just broke people.
So for the sprint race, what does this mean?
Volatility. Pure volatility. McLaren is peaking, they look incredibly fast, but the real story is that P4 to P9 group. Any little touch, any aggressive move at the start, and someone is dropping 4 or 5 places instantly.
And Verstappen's damaged car is the biggest wild card in all of this, isn't it?
It's the biggest factor. Even a tiny loss in performance makes it almost impossible to defend when the car behind you is a tenth of a second faster. He is starting in the worst possible place on the grid.
The margins are just too small, and the penalty for any error is just, it's huge. So let's leave our listeners with one final thought to chew on. Given everything we've seen, Verstappen starting P6 in a compromised car, Lando starting P3, and hungry for a win, who is really in the most dangerous position for the start of this sprint.
Is it the pole sitter, Oscar Piastri, who has everything to lose? Or is it the championship leader, Max Verstappen, stuck in the pack with a car that isn't at 100%?
That's the question, and the answer is probably going to define the first few laps. Thank you for joining us for this deep dive. We hope this gives you a clearer picture of what's ahead.
Review your own notes. We'll see you next time.
And don't forget to follow and subscribe to DRS Zone on all our platforms. We're on TikTok, Instagram, and of course, YouTube. We'll catch you on the next one.